This episode sponsored by BetterHelp, H-E-L-P, BetterHelp.com/Opie. Get 10% off your first month.
Keith sends us in. He goes, I visited the babynames.com website to see what the trending baby names for 2020 are for boys. So these are the names trending for boys in 2020. Khalib, Declan, Levi, Finn, Everett, Milo, Archer, Atticus, Silas, and Holden. I think at this point, parents are just naming their kids all just dumb baby names so nobody could pick on that name. Like, how is Silas going to make fun of Atticus's name? It's not going to happen. Look, at least they didn't name their kid X-A12 like Elon Musk. Look, when you got parents named Elon and Grimes, that baby name is going to be fucked up.
Hello.
What's up, Florentine?
What's going on, man?
How are you, man?
It almost feels like that I'm on the road by myself in a hotel and I can't go anywhere, which is like that, except for I don't have a show at night.
Oh,
like I have days like this all the time, like 8 days out of the month where I'm just in a hotel. Maybe I'll walk out if there's some food place nearby, but other than that, I'm stuck in a hotel all day by myself. But at least I got to do a show at night.
You know, that's a great way to look at it because people think the life of a comedian is glamorous. But the fact is, yeah, you're right. Most of the day, you're just stuck in a hotel, bored shitless, waiting for the show that night. And then you get 2 or 3 cool hours of hanging out with fans, doing your comedy, maybe drinking a little bit, and then it's right back to the hotel.
First of all, they don't have like a car for you, and you're not going to rent a car when you go to these towns either. So a lot of times you have to walk like across a highway just to get to, something to eat, just to get to some food, like a Chipotle or something like that. So you're crossing highway, like a 6-lane highway, just to get some food during the day.
Now, how does that make you feel? Because I know there's a lot of comics, just watching everybody's social media, they're kind of losing their minds a little bit because they don't get to go on that stage. You all right with that?
I still do my 2 podcasts a week. I also do a radio show.
Yeah.
So I got enough. I'm busy for like 2.5 days out of the week. I got a part-time job, basically. And I've just been doing stuff around the house and just keep myself busy and writing and listening to old comedy sets.
Right.
So I'm not really bummed out that I'm not on stage yet, which I just know it's not like just comedians are going through this and nobody else. The whole world is. So I can't feel sorry for myself.
What does Jim Florentine do around the house?
Well, cleaning out closets, cleaning everything, getting rid of stuff, old stuff.
Yeah.
All of that. Just painting my shed, doing lawn work.
Ew.
I know. Well, what am I going to do? I mean, it's stuff that I got a house, so it's stuff that I had to put off I've been putting off for a long time. I'm like, I might as well get it done now.
That's true. I was just thinking the other day that it seems like yesterday, me and you hanging out at Gephardt's, life was good, drinking some beers, podcasting, laughing at that guy that was trying to turn me back into a shock jock and hire me for something. I don't even know what that was. Do you?
Yeah, he basically wanted to start his own podcast network and, make it like you could say whatever you want and we're not going to listen to anybody. And, screw the advertisers. We're men.
Right. We're men. He's like, yeah, men need to be heard. I'm like, what year is this dude, man?
Yeah, he was pitching that to us for like 45 minutes and we're both just kicking each other under the table. Yeah, he'd be like, I really just think if we get like 3 or 4 podcasts, like men related about guys. And I go, that's a great idea. You got to tell Opie that because I know he knows a couple other guys that have podcasts. And I just push him off to you because he's telling me that. I'm like, yeah, you got to tell him that one.
And then I would kick you in the ankle nice and hard. I'm like, this guy's not aware. I'm drinking some fruity beer. I've turned into kind of a feminist to a point ever since I had my daughter. I mean, the days of me being a shock jock and being a man and just speaking like a man, I mean, it's over, man.
Yeah, look, as you get older, you can't have, You can't be fawning over, 21-year-old naked girls or showing their tits in a studio anymore. It's just,
whoa,
you got to move past that.
Whoa, slow down. No, you're right. It is. It gets creepy. It was starting to get creepy at the end there. It was my job to try to get the girl topless, and I'm like, they don't want to be topless anymore. I remember we would have porn stars in, and then it would get so awkward because the only reason they're in is so they're naked. And we could describe that, but you don't need to do that anymore because everyone could see all that stuff on their phone. It used to work when we didn't have our phones, and you tune in a radio show and it's like, oh my God, is that girl naked? And then in your head, you're picturing what she looked like, for your fantasy. But those days just ended. And then they didn't want to get naked anymore. And they're like, well, if you want to see me naked, you could get one of my movies. And I'm like, ugh, God, then why are you here?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they any girl, could do that. Now they don't even have to be a porn star. They can have an Instagram account or an OnlyFans account where they could just show naked pictures. So they all want to. They're not giving away anything for free.
No, and what I've noticed is the youth of America. These women have taken back their sexuality. Oh my God. They have no problem showing as much skin as possible.
Yeah, it's it's almost like a comic. Like, when I first started, I did a lot of fart jokes.
Yeah,
and it's like and fat jokes.
Yeah,
I had my set was full of those kind of jokes, and they used to work.
Right,
and they just don't work anymore. And it's like I'm not comfortable talking about it anymore. Like it just doesn't work. It doesn't work on stage one, and it's like I've done that stuff, and I need to move on from it. You can feel the audience not laughing like they used to at it, and plus it's like I don't really want to talk about farts anymore.
That's a sign of a true artist. You got to know when it's time to move on and to grow and move into different things. So that's smart on your part.
I didn't give up the masturbation joke. So
good for
it's always been there since day one.
you got to keep some of your roots alive, right?
Of course. I'm not a good ass kisser, and you're not either.
No,
just knowing like all those times where the sponsors or the general manager wanted to meet with you and you just blow them off. So you're not an ass kisser either.
No. That I would tell managers and program directors over the years, I'll see you in 15 minutes, and then I would just walk the other way and leave the building, never explaining anything to these guys. But we were so powerful and our ratings were ridiculous that we pretty much felt like we could do anything. Until we couldn't anymore. You're in Jersey, right? How's everyone handling the coronavirus? Are they taking it seriously down there? Because where I'm at, they're starting to loosen up a little too much because the weather's getting too nice.
People are getting frustrated, because it's getting warm around. They want to be outside, but
yeah, I don't blame them.
It hasn't been too crazy.
The lifeguards are in a tough situation because someone's going to be drowning. And what do? You risk your life because you could get the coronavirus by saving someone in the water.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that. But, they're 22-year-old kids.
That's true.
Yeah. They got good immune systems. They'll be able to handle it.
If I'm being honest with myself, if I was 25 years younger, I think I'd be one of those guys. I hate to admit it, but I think I'd be one of those guys just going about my life like nothing was happening.
I'd do the same thing if I was 22 years old. I wouldn't be taking it serious either. I had two sisters that got coronavirus. They're fine.
Oh, are you serious?
They went through it. Yeah. But they, like one sister was working in an office, like right before the shutdown, like in mid-March. And her boss was like coughing all over the place, whatever she said. And then he wound up giving it to his wife and his kid or something like that, the boss.
Oh, my God.
And then my sister got it, and my other sister was living with her at the time, so she caught it from my sister bringing it home.
And how bad was it for them?
No, they didn't have to go to the hospital or anything like that. They basically just, 9-10 days of feeling like shit. They lost their sense of smell, but they never had to go to the hospital. They got tested. They tested positive, and they quarantined for, 14 days, and they're fine now. Now they got the antibodies, and they're 100%.
If I lost the sense of smell, I'd still be with my first girlfriend.
You'd be, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have so many bad memories either of one night stands.
No, I had one girlfriend that had that smelly disease thing. I forget what it's called. It was terrible. It would be like a slime on my fingers after going to town. Ooh. And then you couldn't get the smell out. And I was too young to understand. I really thought every girl smelled like that.
The worst was when I was younger and like I'd go down on a woman. I had a mustache at the time, and it'd be on my mustache the next day too.
Yes.
I couldn't get rid of it.
Oh my God!
But I haven't. I think that was back in like the 80s and 90s. I haven't really come across one lately. Well, like in the last 10 or 15 years, where one has smelled. So I don't know. I guess they figured it out.
Well, I mean, all you have to do is go to CVS and Rite Aid, and you realize they figured it out.
Well, they could have figured it out back then, too. I don't know what the hell was the problem.
Well, that would have been nice for us, but, they were growing their hair like lunatics, and they had one, maybe two products at the drugstore to try to calm that shit down, the smells and whatnot. And nowadays, man, there's a whole aisle dedicated to it. Too dry, too wet, too musky, too smelly, too this, too that.
You know, a guy definitely... running those CVS shops goes, listen, we need a whole aisle for this stuff. If that was me, I'd make it the whole store.
Of course. You would change the name of the store and everything.
I know. But yeah, they lost their sense of smell for a few days, but then they were fine. So
wow, that's good. Good to hear, man. Yeah, this is just...
Yeah, and they gave blood and stuff, plasma. I guess it helps people out that have it, which is good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, at this point, we all know someone that has it or had it.
Yeah.
How's your son doing? Everything good?
Yeah, everything's good with him. They shut the schools down, obviously. He actually misses school. Like, he'd rather be in school, him and his friends, which is crazy. Like, I'd be loving it that I'd only have to do an hour or two of homework at home and not have to go to school. But, like, all of his friends are like, yeah, I wish I miss school. Like, I was never into school. I didn't even care. I was just like, I just did stuff to get by.
Right.
If there was a subject I liked, then I really, I would get an A in. But most of the stuff was just like C's.
Yeah.
B, C, and D's.
Yeah.
Just to get by. Enough of just history.
Yeah.
I hated math, all of that stuff. But as soon as he gets up in the morning, he's ready to do his work. He's like, I got to see if my work's posted. He's like, right at it. He's like, I just want to get out of the way. I'd be waiting till midnight to do it.
Yeah, of course. Last minute. I want to tell my kids so badly, don't even worry about school because everything you need to know is on your phone.
And you want to know about World War II. There's 6 different documentaries on Netflix. Just watch them.
I don't understand what this is all going to become for these kids because we really had to pay attention in school. And I don't know why a kid has to pay attention nowadays.
No, and and if you didn't, you had to go to the library, which was a pain in the ass, but sometimes you had to do that. You had to go sit in there and read books and research stuff.
Inevitably, whatever book you needed at the library, you get to that chapter and it's gone, right? People would rip the pages out. Or just draw dick pictures.
Of course.
All over the book. And you're like, God, I just need to learn so I could graduate. Why is this so difficult?
I'm raising him Catholic, so he goes to like CCD classes, religion classes.
Right on.
So you get confirmation and communion.
Yeah.
And he does like 1 week out of the summer, which is great. It used to be like every Tuesday during the year, which is brutal. For like an hour, you'd have to go in there.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, I could teach the Catholic religion in about 4 hours.
Right.
I can have that whole, I don't know why he has to go for 8 years. Right. Because he has to go from first grade to 8th. What else do you have to know than to just treat people good? Treat them like you want to be treated. That's 75% of religion right there.
And you got to teach them that all the other religions are wrong.
Right. The other ones are wrong. This one's right. And you got to take this for 8 years. Right. You got to do this.
What do you believe from your upbringing as far as religion goes?
I don't know, man. Look, I was raised Catholic, but, I had a lot of issues once I turned like 20, 21 with the whole religion. Right. I was just scared the shit out of me, so I rebelled against it, Yeah. Like I said I'm sure I said on your show, I didn't masturbate till I was 21 years old. Right. Because I was afraid I was going to burn in hell. Right. I didn't have sex till I was almost 18, like a month before my 18th birthday. And I felt like I was doing something wrong. And then when I started, it just completely fucks with your head.
That sucks. Oh my God. I didn't have.
And it's funny because now that I'm single, I've been with women that are in like their early 40s, late 30s, and they grew up Catholic. Yeah. Maybe they went to Catholic, and they are the most uptight fucking women in the world when it comes to sex. They still have that guilt from when they were a kid. They won't masturbate. They won't try anything kinky. They don't like giving blowjobs. It's unbelievable. There's one asshole a long, long time ago that couldn't get any pussy, so he put these rules in place. Because masturbation and sex is incredibly natural. And to make everyone feel so guilty about it I think is just so wrong. Right, and you're Irish, right? You grew up Catholic. Did you go to Catholic school at all?
No, what happened was, so I'm from Centerport, Long Island, which is a very religious little town. Our Lady Queen of Martyrs was our church. But my mom and dad went through the Catholic school system, and as they got older, they really started to turn their backs on the church. They were so frustrated. My mom had 7 kids. She openly admits she had 7 kids because of the church, not because she wanted to have 7 kids. And obviously they didn't do well in math because they couldn't figure out that the rhythm method. So they ended up having a lot of kids. And I remember famously my mom got on the phone with the church screaming and yelling like that she needed help because my dad was between jobs. And they didn't offer much help except come to the church. We'll give you maybe a winter coat or something, you know. And my mom would yell and scream on the phone. You damn people made me have all these kids. The least you can do is help me raise them. So they didn't believe.
Yeah, I mean, I come from a family of 7 too.
Yeah, I know.
So it's like that's what they told you to just have a bunch of kids and then you're on your own. But that's the Catholic religion.
So it came time for me to go to Catholic school, and my mom, thank God. I mean, I had a lot of issues with my mom growing up, but I should talk about some of the positive stuff. And one of them was, she's like, he ain't going to an all-boys school. I want him to be able to socialize. And that was the reason why I never went to Catholic school.
Yeah, well, and I realized after all these years why also the masturbation and stuff is, we were living in I don't know, like 4-bedroom, 2-bath house or whatever. So I had my 2 other brothers in the room with me. So there was 3 of us sharing a room. So those big families, you had no privacy at all.
Well, that's when I discovered my love for taking a bath.
How could you have time to take a bath with 7 people in the family?
That was the
you usually have a time limit in a shower. It's like 10 minutes. You got to be in and out.
Oh God, no! You guys are rookies. First of all, it was the only alone time you could get was to take a bath. And in my house, and this is a true story. So I'm the second oldest. I got an older sister. So I was pretty much first into the bathtub. So I got the nice, clean, warm water, as hot as it could get. And then when I was done, then my brother would go after me and right down the line. And my poor twin brothers who are 6 years younger than me, they were the ones that had to use the water last. That's how sick our family was. They were trying to save money on water. But I didn't care because I was the first one in. So I would enjoy a nice, clean, warm bath.
You're lucky you went in first and not after your brothers, because who knows what they were doing in there. If they were masturbating in the shower and it's stuck on the floor of the tub, and then you're in there.
Well, I know what I was doing, but I was a gentleman. I wasn't an animal, so I would take my big toe and try to, mush it into the drain after I was done.
Oh, that's nice of you. That is being a gentleman.
That's being a gentleman.
No, being a gentleman would tell your brothers, hey, listen, I just whacked my bag in the shower.
Yeah.
By taking a bath, so you might want to wait a little bit or scrub it down with go get some Comet.
No, they had to use the same water or they would get in trouble. I'm not.
You had to use the same water.
That's what I'm saying. I was first in, and then my brothers had to use the water I just was in.
Oh man! Oh, I thought you just meant like you had to get in and out, and by like the third person in, there's not a lot of water left. That was always happened in my house. I didn't know they had to go in your load-infested water.
Yes. My mom was always paranoid that we wouldn't have enough money, so we had to save money on water. We didn't have garbage pickup anymore, so and we're talking a family of 7 kids, sometimes 8, sometimes 9 kids, depending what kid we brought into our house for a while. And my mom, my dad famously got a wood-burning stove, and my mom would burn garbage all day long in between doing loads of laundry. Are you allowed to say mentally retarded these days, or is that bad?
No, I don't think so. Okay. I think you could still say it.
So I think I'm a little stammery and mentally retarded because I breathed in a lot of plastic and toxins.
That's hilarious.
Right. I don't know. Maybe I need some of that counseling. BetterHelp.com/Opie. Get 10% off your first month right now at BetterHelp, HELP.com/Opie. Is there something interfering with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals? Duh. It's called being stuck indoors. And I bet you a few of you need a little counseling or someone to talk to. Well, BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You could start communicating in under 24 hours. Now, it's not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It is professional counseling done securely online. The service is available for clients worldwide. You can log into your account anytime and send a message to your counselor. You'll get a timely and thoughtful response. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions so you won't ever have to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room as with traditional therapy. Yeah, we're not doing that yet. That's why BetterHelp is really, really good right now. BetterHelp, committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy and free to change counselors if needed. More affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available. BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today. Today! Sorry, I just like BetterHelp. Visit their website and read the testimonials that are posted daily. Wow, a lot of good reviews. BetterHelp.com/reviews if you want to check it out for yourself. Visit BetterHelp.com/Opie, H-E-L-P. That's BetterHelp, and join the over 800,000 people taking charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. Special offer for my listeners. That's you, my friends. Get 10% off your first month at BetterHelp, H-E-L-P, BetterHelp.com/Opie. And now back to Jim Florentine. Time to go deep. You turned me on to Darrel Hammond's documentary. It's called Cracked Up. It's on Netflix. That thing was unbelievable, man.
Man, I knew he had some rough childhood. I remember he wrote a book a while back, and he was out promoting it. And then I guess this documentary came out like about 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, and now it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Man.
It triggered me a little bit because, I had a crazy mom as well growing up. But then, because I watched that documentary, I realized how fortunate I actually am, because my mom stopped short of doing all that stuff that happened to Darrel Hammond by his mother. I mean, she was putting his hands in like electrical sockets. Famously, she took a knife when he was just a little boy. Maybe I think he was younger than the age of our sons, Florentine.
Yeah, I think he was like 8 at the time.
8, and the mom holds Darrel Hammond, an 8-year-old Darrel Hammond, in the kitchen, tells him to be quiet, and then takes a knife and cuts his tongue. And can you
cuts his tongue, holds his tongue out, and cuts it in the middle, splits it.
Can you imagine that happening to your son? It
unbelievable.
It made me so fucking mad.
So my mom was, your mom was, I'm sure your dad did the same thing. He worked, your mom stayed home. So the dad has no idea this stuff's going on. He doesn't know what, if you got some crazy mom or some, who knows, some fucking, getting raised by some bitch that she's just going to torture her kids.
Right.
And then she's just going to blow it off. And as this 8-year-old, I know, I think they sent the mom away for like a month to go live with an aunt after that. But other than that, Dad's not going to believe the 8-year-old that mom did, and mom's just going to deny it.
Yeah. My mom went away a lot, and my dad would try to sugarcoat it and say, oh, she went upstate to visit her sister, or, oh, she went to Portland to visit her friend that moved. And, then we got to a point, we got older and realized, no, she was going to the nut house.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
look, I mean, having 7 kids in a house could drive you crazy. So who knows if she was, mentally ill from birth or just she couldn't take it, it's pure chaos.
You bring up a lot there. I think her mental illness came from the environment that she was brought up in, without going into too many details, but it sounded like her dad.
I mean, it usually starts in childhood.
Yeah, her dad was a complete nightmare. Mom, not much better. Never called her my grandma. She was just scary and a nightmare. And I know now that I'm older and have kids of my own, that I know my mom truly loved all of us. And I also know that she did the best she could. I mean, she had a hot meal on that table every night. She was doing our laundry, cleaning our rooms, and, trying her best, doing the pickups after school, driving us to and from our friends' houses, all that stuff. I know she did the best she could. But with that said, wow, it was it was certainly pretty ugly at times, but not as bad as what Darrel Hammond went through, which made him, I guess, a great impressionist and comic, right?
Yeah, man, because, when you have that much trauma growing up, and the only thing you could do is try to be funny and make that seem like, that's what he wanted to do, is do impressions and make people laugh.
Right.
To kill the pain of what was going inside his house.
Right.
I mean, the torture that his own mother was doing to him.
Yeah.
And his dad really didn't know. His dad was always working and around, and he was a Little League coach, and, Darrel was on the Little League team and all that stuff, and his dad was in the military, and he had didn't he have some PSP, post-traumatic stress disorder from the war, too, his dad?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, so, he had all that going on, and I guess there was 3 of them.
Yeah.
And she just really took it out on him. Like, I guess she just picked him to really just totally pick on. And Darrel's always been kind of like strange.
Yeah.
Just kept to himself when you meet him. He's got, he doesn't really hang out or anything like that. And now you see why. And then when you watch a documentary, it's like, man, when I was texting you about it, I said I couldn't sleep that night because it brought up so much shit from my past, some trauma that I had. That I just couldn't stop thinking of.
Like
when
what?
I watched that documentary, it really messed me up.
Like what? What trauma from your?
Well, just when my ex girlfriend committed suicide and me finding her,
Jesus.
And having to call the police and all that stuff, and just seeing her lay there and all that, and never going back to the condo again, like where it happened in my condo.
Right.
I went back like a year later on the 1-year anniversary. I walked through there, and that was it. I never went back there ever again. And when he goes back to his house, his home, back to his house that he grew up in Florida, in the middle of Florida somewhere, brings a documentary crew, and he walks through the house like, oh man, I remember that. I remember this over here. I remember, this is where this happened.
Yeah.
It was eerie.
Yeah. But he did well with that. Remember, he waved goodbye to the house and said it's just a house at this point?
Yeah. Yeah, he did. I mean, but still, you don't know the effects of it until, maybe not at that moment it didn't feel it, but who knows if that, affects him at night and stuff, the sleeping and stuff.
Right.
Over that. But it is good to go back. I didn't want to go back either, and I only went back that one time, so I said, I'm not living here. I'm going to be haunted in this house.
Right.
In this condo and stuff. So I don't know, brought up a lot of shit.
My God.
That, it was just like, man, but that guy go through some stuff.
Yeah.
It's amazing that he's still alive.
100%. 100% amazing that he's still alive. Man.
And just all the stories on Saturday Night Live where they had to call, the ambulance and take him away to a mental institute, like right before a show or right after a show. I mean, he was that, they had to do that like 4 different times during the course of his SNL career.
And he performed for 4 presidents. You think he's got the world by the balls. And like you just said, during SNL, when he was killing it, they're taking him away to a nut house. And in the documentary, they show one of the sketches, and they zoom in on his arm for the documentary, obviously, to show all the scars, because he famously cut himself all the time to deal with the trauma and to feel something, I guess.
Yeah, he was a big cutter. And I think when he was doing a White House Correspondents' Dinner with Clinton, and he was doing the Clinton impression right in front of him, they paused there where they showed the cuts on his arm,
right,
cutting himself, and they were fresh cuts too.
I got to ask you, Florentine, how did you get over the suicide of your ex? Because a lot of people listening to this, I mean, I can't imagine going through something like that. I mean, how did you finally get over it and was able to kind of move on?
Well, right away, I said, I got to deal with this thing head on. I was like, I got to find, I don't know anything about it. Suicide's such a weird death. There's a lot of blame to go around with a suicide. It's just a weird one when no one wants to talk about it. Your friends don't know what to say to you.
Right.
If you lose your wife to cancer, they go, hey man, I feel for you. My mom died of cancer, whatever. But with suicide, everybody's just weird about it. So I found these support groups, like these survivors of suicide support groups. I went online like a couple days later. I said, I got to find these. I think someone recommended it or something to go to these groups. I started reading about it online. So I started going to these support groups, survivors of suicide.
Yeah.
I meet like every Tuesday and Thursday, almost like an AA meeting with people, parents that lost their kids and stuff like that. And we're all going through it.
Right.
So that really helped me out. I did that for like the first 6 months or so. That helped me get through it. It just takes time. I just knew, like, all right, it's just gonna suck for a while, and eventually, slowly you're going to come out of it and feel better.
Did you blame yourself, even though that's not fair to your?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You've always blamed yourself. You're like, I was the last person to see her. It's like if I was doing a comedy show that night. If I didn't go out in the comedy show, then I would have been here, and then she wouldn't have done it. But that, then you realize if people are going to do that, if they're going to commit suicide, they're going to do it at some point, whether you're there or not.
Oh yeah.
Like they'll find another time to do it when you go down to the front desk, go get a package.
Right.
They'll do it then. So it's like, you can't say if I was just there that night, because they'll find another way to do it if they're determined to do it, or another time.
Oh yeah, no, they're just unfortunately waiting for that opportunity. Oh my God!
And it's weird because when they're ready to do it, they're actually in a relaxed mood because they know the end is near and they're going to be out of pain, which is weird.
Right?
Because you would think that most of the time, if you see somebody go, you didn't even think. I just saw him today. I was talking to him. He was fine. He was laughing, joking. He's going to the beach this weekend because they almost know that like the end is near where I'm finally going to be out of pain.
So they're able to kind of, in general, let go, but
completely disguise it, and then they're not at manic at that point. Some of them are, but a lot of them aren't. So it's really tricky. And it goes, she had an unbelievably bad childhood, almost like Darrel Hammond, too. So I know where it came from. When I met her and stuff, she was adopted, foster home, she got molested,
Jesus.
All this stuff, different times. So she had a horrible upbringing.
I'm sorry. Oh, my God.
No, it's all right. It's like, it was, 2006.
Right.
So we're talking, 14 years ago. But,
Yeah, I understand. But for the person, they leave behind a lot of pain, a lot of hurt for the people that really loved and cared for them.
Oh, the people that do that, they leave behind a mess.
A complete
mess.
Mess.
In their mind, when they're going through it, or when they go, these people are going to be better off without me around.
Right.
That's their mindset. Like if I go away, if I commit suicide, they're going to be better off without me because I'm such a pain in the ass. But it's the complete, opposite of that. Like we'll deal with it. We've dealt with it forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not that big of a deal. We'd rather you have to be around.
Yeah, of course.
But that's the way they think it.
Yeah, I just wanted to get that out there because you made it almost sounded nice that they were at peace and happy at the end of their life because they knew they were going to move on from.
No, and there's a lot of people have been on the brink of it and have tried it and just got therapy and whatever they needed to do to get to a better place, whether it's medication or therapy. It's years of therapy to just dig in and dig and dig.
Yeah.
To get that. And then with medication and stuff too, and they can live a normal life. A lot of times they're just having a bad moment. If they could just sleep it off, they'll be fine in the morning.
Yeah, you learn that in The Power of Now, a book that you technically turned me on to by Eckhart Tolle.
Oh, yeah.
When you have that impulse, whether it is to drink, do drugs, kill yourself, the best thing you could do is just try to breathe and allow that thought to pass. And you realize on the other side of it, it could be, much, much better, and not to do that impulse. You have that impulse to do something, and a lot of people react immediately. And what you learn in The Power of Now with Eckhart Tolle is like, no, man, just be with that impulse, but don't act on it. And that impulse will pass quicker than you realize.
Yeah. And look, and a lot of times when people are thinking of doing something like that or severely depressed, is that that whole Eckhart Tolle thing is like, just live in the moment.
Yeah.
Just don't even just reference the past as use the past as a reference, and that's it.
Right.
Don't live in the past. So basically what you're doing is you're living in the past from all that trauma in your childhood.
Of course.
And and you're thinking about it constantly. And he's like, no, just think about where you are right now.
Yeah. It's the simplest thing ever. The past don't mean shit. The future don't mean shit. What matters is right now. Me and you talking. This is all that matters right now. And it's as simple as that. We thought everything was great when we were at Gephardt's. We were living in the moment there. And boy, if we were thinking about the future, oh my God, the future is here, and it's ugly with this coronavirus.
No, it really is. Like it's almost like if you go through a bad breakup. Like let's say your girlfriend or your wife comes to you one day, goes, "Look, I want a divorce or I want to break up," and you're devastated because you didn't see it coming.
Yeah,
you're gonna spend, and it's gonna suck for a while, but it's gonna get better.
Yeah.
So and we've all been through breakups before, where okay, man, this is gonna man, I'm going to be down, depressed, be in bed for a few weeks, barely, don't want to exercise, eating shitty food. But at some point it's going to be better. All your breakups, it got better over time. And that's what's going to happen when someone's thinking that, that's depressing, thinking about doing something like that. Like, it's going to get better. This moment sucks, but it's going to get better.
It's hard to think that when you're living through it, especially when you're younger and you don't have that knowledge, but time really, really helps. I remember I was 23. My girlfriend at the time moved to Cape Cod. I stayed in Rochester to get my radio career going. Everyone else moved to Boston and Cape Cod and all these places in New England just to have fun and to continue their college careers, basically, And I'm like, no, I got an opportunity in cold-ass Rochester that's way more boring than going to Boston or Cape Cod. And it was the right thing for me and my career. So I had a long-distance relationship going with my girl at the time, and she would blow me off when I would try to see her because me and my buddy Buzzy were driving to Boston almost every weekend to be with our friends, And every time I'd drive to Boston, she's like, not this weekend. I got to work, or I can't make it to Boston, or, whatever. I got stuff going on. Finally, she goes, okay, come see me in Cape Cod. And I think I took a bus or something there, and she picked me up, and she grabbed my bag, and she opened the trunk of her car, and there it was, Florentine, size 13 basketball sneakers. My heart dropped. I thought my life was over because I really, really cared about this girl. Really cared about her. She made some dumb excuse, but I already knew. Now I had the knowledge of all the blow-offs. I'm like, oh, Christ, now I know why. And then it was an awkward 2 days in Cape Cod. And, I wasn't stupid. We still had sex, Florentine.
Yeah, well, the only thing I'd be thinking when I see this size 13 sneakers is how big is his dick?
No kidding.
He's wearing size 13.
All that. And then I left Cape Cod, went back to Rochester, and our relationship was never the same. It was funny because then I'm in Buffalo just to finish, and she finally moves back home to Rochester, and she really wanted to get our relationship going, and she visited me in Buffalo. And I got to tell you, we had a great, great weekend together. She's thinking this is the beginning of getting it all back together, and my heart was long gone. But we left on a good note. We ended up having a great weekend, and then I moved on with my life, and she moved on with hers, and that was it. But I remember my point when I saw those sneakers in her trunk. I didn't know how I was going to live. It was
right. You could still feel today. Today, you could still feel that moment. I know, and it's like, and you could easily reacted right then and there. Go, my life's over. I'm never going to feel the same. And it's like, please, it's going to be fine in a little while.
Well, I bring it up because I think a lot of people have had that moment in their lives, and that was it. That was the turning point, whether they, oh my God, killed themselves or went down a just terrible road at that point. But with the luxury of time, I realized it was the best thing that could have happened to me. I can't imagine being married to her with kids and stuff, I wouldn't have my beautiful kids and my beautiful wife, and you got to go through those life experiences and hang on when it gets tough, and know you're going to be okay on the other side of it, which you're living proof of because, you had a girlfriend kill herself, and then your marriage didn't end up that great, and you're doing more than fine now, man.
I compare something like that, finding my ex-girlfriend to, like, if some girl wants to divorce me, that one sucked too, but it's nowhere near going to come to what happened with my ex. Like, it's never going to compare to that. So to me, I'm like, this is a piece of cake compared to what I went through. Yeah. I always judge stuff off of that, like, okay, that was the worst thing.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Wow. This got really serious. And the funny thing is I'm a fan of your podcast. It's on Barstool Sports now. You just break down stuff so perfectly. You abuse all the people doing their stupid Facebook games and all the dumb things people are doing because of the coronavirus. And I wanted to talk to you about all that stuff, but we ended up going down a different road.
But these games that people make up on Facebook have been around long before the coronavirus. They've been, irking me for a long time. You just go on Facebook. You want to check a couple things. Maybe I want to post a comedy date or something. And I got to, I got to see some guy. All right, here's 10 concerts I went to, but one of them I didn't. Figure out which one I didn't, but don't cheat. Ready, go. And it's like, I don't care.
Right.
And how am I going to cheat knowing what concert you went to and which one you didn't?
Right.
How would I ever cheat on that? Would I, if you put Bob Seger at Madison Square Garden, am I going to call the garden and see if I can get the security footage? To see if that guy was scanned through 17,000 people going through.
Right.
The door to see if he was at that show.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't care which one you didn't go to and which one you did. I didn't come here to play games.
It's a great idea for a podcast because you get everyone to write in and tell you what nonsense is going on in the world or on Facebook or other social media, and then you pick some good ones, and then you just go off. I love your and your after every.
It really does. It really does bother me. Like it's not manufactured. It's not made up. It just annoys. I've never been a good game person. I don't know. Did you go to parties and play Pictionary and that crap?
God, no.
No, exactly. I never did either. I was never into board games. I mean, maybe when I was a kid, played Monopoly or something, but I was never a game person anyway.
Yeah, no. Our game, I remember one when I was a freshman, we went to this girl's house and we all got into a giant circle in a living room. We're playing I want to say Zeppelin or something just as cool, and we're literally passing a bong around the room, and you would try to hold on as best you could, and then the bong would continue around the circle and come back around to you, and that was the game we played until there was no one standing anymore, and we're listening to just great tunes and wondering who we're going to try to pick up from the other side of the circle as they're doing their bong hit. I wasn't playing Pictionary or Boulder Dash or any of that crap.
Yeah, exactly. I was doing the same thing. You're playing naked poker or something like that, or spin the bottle. I remember even in high school playing that.
Yeah,
where you spin the bottle and you got to make out with somebody.
Yeah,
stuff like that. But yeah, when it comes to Pictionary and this and that, I was like, we used to go on vacation with the family, and sometimes they'd bring out those games.
Yeah.
And I just go, I'm going to sleep. I just go in the other room. I don't want to draw pictures.
Yeah. I'll tell you another game I played, praying that the sun came up before I died of a heart attack because I did too much cocaine with this naked broad.
Yeah.
As we're playing U2's Joshua Tree over and over and over again, and I'm jumping up and down on the bed because I literally can't sit still. That's the games we played.
Yeah, even a game I played Texas Hold'em one time down in Atlantic City.
Yeah,
for some tournament. They wanted me to go in. They put me in for free.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't want to play cards for 5 hours so I find out who wins. This is boring.
Yeah, of course.
And they're all serious. I'm trying to crack, just fucking around, and nobody's laughing. They're all serious, looking at me like, dude, we're playing cards here. I'm like, what fun is this?
Yeah, there's nothing fun about this at all.
My brother's a gambler, and he hates it because I used to go by him at Atlantic City at the table, and he'd be miserable. He was in the greatest mood, and then he'd be losing. He'd be miserable.
Yeah.
And I'd just be like, nobody's ever bought a house by gambling.
Right.
Just know that.
Have
you ever walked into a mansion like, oh man, how'd you afford this? I won down Atlantic City. I won.
Yeah, I won the poker tournament. Right. That's really funny. But you're all about the things that people are doing on Facebook because of the coronavirus, like the virtual proms that are happening right now and the virtual graduations. And I think people are also trying to celebrate Christmas. They're putting Christmas lights on their house and watch Christmas movies or talk about Christmas movies just to get through the whole coronavirus thing.
Yeah, that was the thing, when it first started, put your Christmas lights back up so people could drive around the neighborhood and put their kids in the car and we can look at Christmas lights. I go, it's March. I was saying, I just took mine down last month. I'm not putting them back up.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? How is it? Yeah, and kids don't care about Christmas lights. Yeah, it looks good for 2 seconds. They're interested in presents. Is there any presents attached to these Christmas lights?
Right.
And they don't care.
Yeah, if you buy them a whole bunch of presents and say, hey, we're doing an extra Christmas because of the coronavirus and we're stuck indoors, then that would kind of make sense. Yeah, I mean, you realize people aren't that creative. That's why your podcast is so great, because there's...
Well, I stayed away from the coronavirus stuff until like last week because I was like, I don't want to attack it, and then I'm just like, all right, at this point,
yeah,
I got to address it. Like all the parents now because they have the homeschooling, so they're making these jokes like, mommy had to put her son in the principal's office, aka mommy's room.
Yeah.
Yeah, my little Johnny didn't like the cafeteria food today.
See, that's the best part of your podcast, because I know you're not just making it up. You're really disgusted. And as your friend, I enjoy you being tortured. I laugh. I'm fishing and I listen to your podcast, and when that,
yeah, I know it really. I'm like, come on, you know what I mean? We're all going, but I was trying to lay off it for a while, but I'm like, all right, I can't anymore.
Yeah,
I'm not making fun of it. Like I said, it's
no, of
super
course
serious, and it's horrible what's going on. It's horrific. It's the worst thing we've gone through. So, but yeah, what's corny stuff like that, like to put your Christmas lights up, because that's going to make you feel better. I go, why don't you just watch a movie? Everybody knows what they need to do to feel better about something.
Right.
Whether it's, like I said, whether you want to put music on, watch a comedy, see it for one of your favorite movies, watch Netflix or something like that. We don't have to hang Christmas lights. There's other things we could do.
Well, I think what makes it so much fun to listen to is the fact that these people aren't actually trying to help each other through this pandemic, that it's all about them, and they're trying to come up with some kind of game or some kind of idea that goes viral. That's why it's beautiful what you're doing.
Yeah, because this one woman posted that. She goes, look, I don't have any kids, but I've been thinking, prom has been on my mind lately. She's in her early 40s. Like, why are you thinking about your prom? You're 42 years old.
Exactly.
So it's just dumb ideas. Prom's been on, I'm feeling determined. Prom's been on my mind. I'm like, get over it, lady. Stop it. She said, I want to start a page, Prom 2020. Like a Facebook group. So, she just wanted attention. She was hoping the thing was going to go all over the place. And everyone's going to talk about how wonderful she is, that she's thinking about high school kids.
Oh, my God. Does anyone know who started this whole prom idea? It's amazing. It's taken over the whole world. We got to give
and
credit
then she'll
to
be
this
on this
lady.
Good Morning America on Zoom talking about, I just had this thought one night.
Right.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't. Did I ever tell you my prom story?
No, you didn't.
Well, first of all, my prom was a bust because the girl I took, who I was really, really into, she had to be home by midnight.
Oof.
Yeah, but I was allowed to pick her up when the sun came back up. So it's around this time of year, so I think I pulled back up around 5:30 in the morning to grab her. And my whole crew went to the ocean for the night. So I had to go home at midnight, wait 5.5 hours to pick her up. And then I pick her up. She's out of her prom dress at this point. She's in like sweats and a nice T-shirt or whatever. And we go to the beach to see what the rest of the gang are up to. And we come upon a scene that just looked amazing. People could barely stand. There's prom dresses on backwards. Guys got makeup all over their face. They don't know where the fuck they are. They just had the night of their lives, and here we come, all fresh face from a good night's sleep because, she wasn't allowed to stay out all night. That's what I remember from my prom. And then fast forward, I go to college in Geneseo. We end up going out that whole summer, and then I had to say goodbye to her, and I went to Geneseo. On my floor, we start talking about our proms. And I start talking about my prom date and her name and blah, blah, blah. And this guy goes, oh, I went to my prom with a girl, same name. I'm like, oh, really? And we got to talking. And then there was a realization. The guy goes, oh, my God, I'll be right back. And he goes down to his room. And he comes back with a picture from his prom.
Yeah.
Florentine. He went to the prom with the same girl I did.
Wait, but was it the same night?
This girl was kind of new to my school. She came from somewhere else. I don't remember exactly where anymore, but I remember her telling me that she had to go home or to her old hometown for something. But she didn't tell me what it was. It turned out she was going back home to go to another prom with this guy. So fast forward, we're at college, and he shows me the picture. He's standing right next to her, same girl, same fucking prom dress. And we just laughed ourselves silly, like, oh my God. And then we put it all together. I'm like, wait a minute. She told me that she had to go back to whatever, this weekend. And he goes, yeah, that was my prom.
I didn't go to my high school prom, but then I was already out of high school like 1 year, and this girl was, I guess, a senior. I worked with her at a hardware store.
Yeah.
And it was like 3 days before the prom, and she had no date. So she goes, hey, would you go to the prom with me? And I'm like, yeah. And she goes, I'll pay for everything. I'll go, all right, if you pay for everything, I'll go with you. Because she just needed a date. She wanted to go.
Yeah.
And we just went as friends, and she turned out to be a lesbian. So,
oh, wow.
I did that to her or not.
You might have. Can you imagine? I'm sure we all turn girls into lesbians, don't you think?
Well, yeah, we didn't hook up or anything. Like she actually said, she goes, you had a better time than I did at my prom because I knew everybody there. I was just, hanging, drinking, having a blast.
Yeah.
We never hooked up or anything because we were just friends. But yeah, she wound up being a lesbian.
Oh, wow.
I still keep in touch with her. I still see her. She comes to my comedy shows.
Nice. Real nice.
She has a new hot chick every time she comes to my shows.
Really?
Hotter than the next.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, this is unbelievable.
What's that about, you think?
I don't know. I'm like, you're amazing.
Well, Florentine, this was awesome.
Yeah, man, it was great catching up with you and stuff.
Just weird, right? This whole thing?
It really is. I mean, I have all my comedy dates that I had in March and April and May got postponed to the fall. I got nothing scheduled or anything, but I'm just like, whatever. You got to wait it out. New Jersey, second hardest hit state. So,
Des Bishop, the comic, he's a friend of mine and he's huge in Ireland. And
oh, yes, I know who he is. Yeah.
He's huge in Ireland and same thing. He had to cancel everything. And I was trying to tell him, and it's probably hard for people to listen to this, but I was on top of the world with Anthony in 2002. We couldn't do anything wrong. Incredible ratings, incredible money coming in. And then we did that Sex for Sam thing and we got knocked out. And we had to take over 2 years off because the company said, we're going to pay you, but you can't work anymore. They were trying to kill our careers. And obviously it didn't kill our careers. We were able to come back after that. But I had 2 years, 3 months to just wander around, not work, and not have any worries in the world. And I wish that I took it more seriously and really as one of the themes of this episode and live in the moment. I didn't understand living in the moment back then, obviously, because I think in the end, Des Bishop, Jim Florentine, and the rest of you guys, you're going to be just fine, and that you should enjoy this time that has been given to us with this whole pandemic thing.
It is a good point because it's definitely made me and my son closer. Like we bonded even more.
Yeah.
Because, I'm with him half the week, when he's here. So we just hang out. We go to bed. We're like an old married couple. We go to bed and get up at the same time every night.
Yeah.
When he's here.
Yeah.
And we just, we're always doing stuff. You know what I mean? He's got to do his homework. I got to do my work. But then we're just hanging out, watching movies every night. We're playing basketball. We're doing this. So we have really bonded, bonded even more.
Yeah.
Since this whole thing has happened. I mean, obviously I haven't seen anybody, but it's just weird. I haven't had a schedule like this in almost 30 years. So I always worked nights. Even before I was a comic, I was a DJ in a rock club and shit. So I've never gone to bed at like 10:30 and gotten up at like 7 or 7:30 since I was like 20 years old.
Yeah, I think
it's a whole other lifestyle. It's like I feel like I'm retired, but it's really boring.
I know.
But it's only because I can't travel anywhere. Like at least when you were off those 2 years, you could travel. You traveled all around.
Yeah.
So you can't even leave the house and you can't do anything.
Yeah, but my point is I just wish I knew I was going to be okay in the end. And I would have enjoyed that time off a lot more. I still did a lot, but I should have went to Europe. I always wanted to go to like Japan or Hawaii, just crazy ass places. And I was always just so worried and always had to check in with my agent and check my phone to see if anyone's calling and all this crap. And I just wish that I settled in and realized, okay, this is a unique opportunity and you should live life to the fullest. And on the other side of it, everybody or most of us will be just okay, man.
Yeah, but that was tough for you guys because they were really trying to bury your career. They were keeping you off the air for over 2 years just so people forgot about you.
Yeah.
And when you came back, you wouldn't get a job. And everyone's like, oh, they moved on from you guys. So that had to be terrifying, especially when you guys were on the top of the world. You just got on all those other markets. You got that huge raise and all that stuff, and you guys had a ton of heat.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it just went away like that. So that's got to be more difficult. That would have been a tough thing for anybody.
Yeah, it was brutal. And it's funny, in the end, they needed us, but they hurt our careers so much. I mean, we still came back and did very, very well. But those 2 years plus that we were off the air, they really knocked down our stock. And then it's so funny because Howard Stern announces he's going to satellite radio. We were already at XM at this point, and they needed a replacement for Howard, so they came for us. They had David Lee Roth first, and he failed miserably, and then they did put us in that spot. But we didn't do as well as we could have, first of all, because we were under contract with XM, which made it very problematic. But secondly, we weren't the same Opie and Anthony at that point because they were the ones that hurt us by firing us and putting us on the beach for over 2 years. So in the end, I think they hurt themselves, but whatever. I'm babbling.
Yeah, look, I know at some point this thing is going to be over. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you're just happy to be alive. Like, there's so many people dying around you. So, like, hey, man, I'm alive, and so are all my family and friends. So I can't. Yeah. If I can't work for a while and I'm not getting the money I used to get, all right, I just got to deal with it. It's something that everybody's got to deal with in life. I know comedy's going to come back at some point. It's already coming back.
Yeah.
Comedians are getting on planes and going to Texas and Oklahoma to go do shows.
Oh, that's good.
It's not too far off.
Yeah.
If this thing comes back with a second wave in the fall, it's going to suck again. But let's hope that it doesn't.
Yeah, but we're putting our priorities in order. You realize a lot of that shit just doesn't matter in the end anyway.
I'm lucky I live like a low-maintenance life where I don't have to worry about, like, my house going to be taken away, my car.
Yeah.
I can't pay my bills and stuff like that. I've always, drive around a used Honda Accord. I don't, I spend money when I need to, but I don't buy fancy cars, this and that. I just never was into that. So I'm lucky.
Yeah.
And I don't have some woman trying to spend all my money.
Right.
I'm lucky with that too. So I'm in a pretty good spot.
You're in a good place. We need sports to come back, obviously. And I think they're going to try to get a football season in. They're starting to talk about playing football without crowds, which is pretty insane. Did you see that they're trying to figure out if they could give the NFL players a mask to wear under their helmets to protect themselves from the coronavirus?
I didn't see that.
Yes, it's a real thing. And I'm thinking, isn't that the least of their worries?
How are you going to you have to be running and sprinting and stuff like that. When you got a mask on, it's really not going to work that well.
No, God, no. It's hard.
You know what I mean? Trying to catch your breath as you're trying to friggin' run down the field 80 yards or whatever, and people are chasing after you. The guy taking the kickoff return with a mask on.
Yeah, no.
I mean, who knows what's going to happen by September with this?
Right.
I do like that the NFL just said, F you, and we're just going ahead. Like, we're doing a draft. We're doing NFL free agency.
Right.
There is going to be a season. Here's the schedule.
Yeah.
They're not worried about what the bitches on Twitter are saying.
Yeah.
All these sports writers that are super liberals are going, how could you play? It's like, this is what your job is, to cover the league, and you don't want them to play.
I know. That's your livelihood, you idiot.
And, we don't know what's going to happen in September. It seems like everything's, getting back. Numbers are way down, like in the last week or so. Like, a lot of stuff's starting to, it's starting to go away quicker.
Yeah.
And people out in Georgia and stuff, that opened one of the first states to open, that, the cases aren't up and people aren't dying. It's like, okay, maybe this thing, with the warm weather is going to knock it out for a while. So I love what the NFL did. They finally didn't listen to Twitter, which they did when Kaepernick was kneeling.
Right.
They listened to Twitter, and they screwed up the league by doing that. And now I'm actually turning on Roger Goodell. I'm actually starting to like him because he just blows them off. It's like, fuck that, we're playing.
Wow, for you to like him, that's pretty.
I know. I'm really starting to come around on him. NFL ratings were down 19% after those 2 years of Kaepernick and everybody else kneeling and them showing that on TV.
Yeah,
because people were getting mad. They're like, look, I don't want all this shit before a football game, and people stopped watching.
Right.
And so last year, Goodell went to all the TV stations, the TV people at ABC and ESPN, and said, stop showing those guys kneeling. It's hurting your advertiser dollar too, because the ratings are down.
Right.
It's hurting you. So just don't show it. So they stopped showing it, and the ratings were up 11% from 2 years ago. So they're only down 8% since what Kaepernick started that shit. And that's when, Goodell started listening to Blue Twitter and everyone bitching about it.
Yeah.
And so he stopped showing it. Nobody talks about it. There's like 2 guys that kneel now, and nobody even knows that unless you're at the game.
Of course.
And that's why people are starting to watch football again. He's like, I'm not going to listen to those people anymore.
Nice. One last question. Tom Brady in Tampa, what happens? You think he's got a shot to get to another Super Bowl?
I don't think they'll go to a Super Bowl. He's got a lot of guys that he can throw to. They got a great offense there, and Bruce Arians. No, I mean, he ain't going to another Super Bowl with Tampa Bay. No way. No, because the guy's 43 years old. I mean, look, he started slipping a little last year, but that could have been he had a really shitty team around him,
right?
And he really had no receivers, so that's possible. I mean, he's loaded in Tampa with these receivers, but I don't know. I see him maybe going 8-8, 9-7, maybe a playoff game, and then they lose, but he ain't bringing them to a Super Bowl. No way. They're in a tough division with the Saints. Look, you're a fan of the AFC East. I'm just glad he's out of that division, finally.
Yeah, and I'm officially not a Patriots fan anymore, thank God. So now I'm just down to the Bills and the Jets in the AFC East.
Look, the Patriots are still going to go 10-6. Belichick knows that Stidham guy that they have.
Yeah.
If he didn't think he was good, he wouldn't have got rid of Brady, or he would have brought another quarterback in or drafted one. So he knows stuff that we don't know. So they're still going to go 10-6.
Wow.
And probably win that division.
That...
They won't go 12-4, 13-3 like they usually do.
Yeah.
Belichick's not going to go into a season with a shitty quarterback. He wants to prove he can win without Brady.
Of course.
And Brady wants to prove he can win without Belichick.
Of course. That's all they have left because they accomplished everything else. All right, I'm babbling now, man. I really appreciate your time, Florentine, and I'm glad you're safe.
Of course, man. It's always great catching up with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Barstool Sports for the podcast. Anything else you want to plug?
Yeah, that's it. It comes out every Monday and Thursday. Everybody is awful.
It's a good listen, man, just to hear your anger and that you're tortured. All right, brother. Thank you so much.
Thanks. All right, man. Thanks. It was great talking to you.
Right on.
Boo, 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 boo. Opie Radio. Boo, 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 boo. Boom, 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 boom. Boo, 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 boo. Boo, 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 boo,